Hello and welcome to Tête-à-Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest this week is Nir Barkat. He is Israel's Economy Minister, former mayor of Jerusalem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark, for inviting me.
We're going to be talking, obviously, about the situation in Gaza, the very dire situation in Gaza. Israel's latest offensive, called Gideon's Chariots, has, as a result, put 80% of the enclave under evacuation orders or force people into designated area. What is Israel's goal? To reoccupy Gaza, to resettle Gaza? Can you explain to us?
Sure. Unfortunately, once Hamas took over 15 years ago, they took over Gaza, they embedded all the terror infrastructure as part of the civil infrastructure. And what they're doing is they're using the people of Gaza as shield for the Hamas. And what we must do, we're committed to make sure we never return to October 6th. Hamas will not survive this war. And we need all our 58 hostages that are still there back. So what we've been doing is splitting between the people of Gaza and Hamas. In the past, we used to send all the humanitarian aid to Gaza. Hamas took it over and managed, controlled the people of Gaza through the food. And what we're doing right now is separating between the people of Gaza, giving them aid directly, all the humanitarian aid directly with the Americans. It's American-led and supported by Israel, and separating between Hamas and the people of Gaza. This will bring a closer end to the war.
Really? Because according to the UN, you're not helping the people of Gaza. You're starving them. And you're bombing them, including women and children. People don't understand what Israel is up to. You're saying...
It's very simple.
It doesn't sound
Our goal is to eliminate Hamas. We have no quarrel with the people of Gaza.
Why are you killing them?
We're not killing people. Look, it's very clear. Our goal is to eliminate Hamas. And unfortunately, Hamas is using them as a human shield. And the challenge we have is to separate between the two. And this is the goal, and we will not stop until Hamas surrenders. The war could be over in a minute. The minute Hamas surrenders and gives us the hostages back. And we will do whatever we need to do. And we will not stop until we make sure that terror is defeated exactly like the Nazis in the Second World War. Nobody stopped until the Nazis were eliminated, because these guys, these Hamas people, are like Nazis. But remember what they did October 7. So nothing will stop us to achieve this goal.
But aren't you troubled when you see, again, women, children being killed, even as they go to seek the food you're distributing in a way that is deemed not the right one by most humanitarian agencies?
First of all, we don't like to kill any innocent people. That's not the target, that's the goal. That's the goal of Hamas, that believe in death and destruction. And they demonstrated what they did October 7. That's not the DNA of the Jewish people. That's not the DNA of Israel. We will do everything we can to fight only the terrorists and minimize the damage. So this is the goal of Israel. And mind you, we care about civilians. We care about our own civilians. We care about the other side civilians. They don't care about us, and they don't care about anyone else. And don't fall for the lies and the fake news they're sending as if though Israel is targeting the people there. It's very clear.
Mistakes are being made, right?
Mistakes can happen in every war. That's a mistake. That's not a goal. And I want to emphasize this point. We want to separate, make sure that the aid goes directly to the people. And Hamas wants to fight that. They want to control the people through the aid that is passed to Gaza. And we will make sure that we are giving the aid through the Americans in a direct way to make sure that Hamas is separated and we can end the war quickly.
Is Israel willing to resettle Gaza?
It's not on the table.
Well, some ministers have said yes,
well,
they want to.
It's not on the table. What we want to make sure is that Gaza does not create threat to Israel anymore. We will not go back to October 6th. And by the way, I think that you must realize that the better job we do fighting terror, you're going to see on the other hand, more and more countries around the world seek peace with Israel, to expand the Abraham Accord with the Saudis, with Indonesia. And don't be even surprised that some people in Judea and Samaria will join the Abraham Accord, because they had enough of the terror and the initiative that the Palestinian Authority is imposing on all of us, Israelis and Palestinians alike.
You mentioned Judea Samaria, as it's called the West Bank in the rest of the world. What is happening there? Is the plan an annexation? And by that I mean, what is the end goal? are you saying officially, we don't want a Palestinian state?
We don't want a Palestinian state.
Why
What we're
not?
willing to live with something much better.
Why not a Palestinian
I'll
state?
explain what we
Today
are.
you're saying that Israel's official policy is no Palestinian state ever?
I'll explain to you. Maybe it's a little bit out of the box for people, but we propose something much better. Okay? We propose the emirate model for the Palestinian, for people in Judea and Samaria, which is a fundamentally much better governance structure. All successful Arab countries are tribal-based.
Not
Okay?
democracies.
No, there are no elections in Dubai. There are no elections in Riyadh.
Is this
There are
what
no
you
elections
want?
in.
Is this
We
what
think
you-
it's better for the Palestinians if
But
they form.
why not let them decide?
We will let them decide, and you'll find that some of them will choose that route. And you'll be surprised that some of them will choose the route of becoming an emirate and collaborating with Israel. They prefer that than becoming a state, which failed. And if anything, we can demonstrate that in the last 30 years, the Oslo Accord, which is mid-stage to a state, failed. No Israeli believes in that anymore. No Palestinian believes in that anymore.
But they want a state, don't they?
Well, no, the ones we're talking to want to become an emirate. They want to have collaboration. They want to join the peace accord. They're not interested. They want to collaborate and recognize the state of Israel as the state of the Jewish people. They want to collaborate and work together as we did before the war.
Obviously, you must have noticed that Israel is becoming, to a large extent, a pariah state on the international stage. And I'm not talking about Israel's traditional enemies. I'm talking about staunch allies. You've heard Canada. You've heard the United Kingdom. You even heard Germany wonder, what is Israel doing in Gaza? Why are they bombing the hell out of Gaza? Israel is losing support fast, and there's talk that there could even be Western sanctions against Israel.
Let's make it straight. Let's make things right. Israel will win the war. We will do whatever it takes to win the war with minimal collateral damage. We do that in a better way than other armies did in the past in relative situations. And nobody's going to stop us because it's our neck on the line. And you know what's absurdity of the situation is, it's not just our neck. The moderate Arab world fears Iran and their proxies as much as, they propose threat as much as the threat is to Israel. The modern democracies, if you think you're going to put pressure on Israel, you're wrong. You must put the pressure on Qatar and Hamas and Iran. That will end the war. And if you're getting mixed up, put your priorities right. You better understand, you must understand that we are not the bad guys. We didn't start this war. We will end it though. We will end it with total surrender of Hamas and getting all our hostages back. And until then, I expect the world to understand who the real enemy of the free world, the jihadists, the terrorists. Don't support them. Let's shorten the life of Hamas by doing the right things and supporting Israel.
France and Saudi Arabia are to co-host an event at the United Nations in a few days about the recognition of a Palestinian state. The French President Emmanuel Macron has openly talked about his willingness to recognize a Palestinian state as a way to jumpstart a peace process. He's been vividly criticized by Israel. Why is he wrong? Why not recognize a Palestinian state and try to restart a peace process?
If you have eyes in your head and you
do.
see what happened in the last 30 years since Oslo started, it just brought death and destruction. And to a degree that nobody, even the Palestinians in Israel, in Judea and Samaria, don't trust the Palestinian Authority. It will never fly. And Israeli public opinion, including all the leadership and the government, we had a vote in the parliament. From 120 parliament members, 99 were against a Palestinian state. And trying to force this on Israel will never work.
What will happen to France if it does recognize a Palestinian state?
It's
The
not-
UK is also, it's a G7 countries.
We prefer something better.
What
We
if they
prefer
do?
the emirate model.
What if
They
they
can do whatever they want. It's not going to happen. And
Is Israel going to retaliate diplomatically?
I think it's the wrong approach. And I honestly tell the French leadership, don't take the wrong route. Support your allies. Support the only democracy in the Middle East. Support the only Jewish state in the world. Deny terror. And what you're doing is you're helping the jihadists and Hamas, and you're delaying the war. Help us finish the war quickly. Putting pressure on us and defining a Palestinian state that will never happen is not going to bring you the result you want. align with us, and together we'll bring the result that we want.
You mentioned Iran in passing. Donald Trump has essentially blocked Israel from striking Iran's nuclear sites infrastructure. He is seeking a deal with Iran. Is this the right direction?
We agree with the Americans and hopefully with the rest of the world, the majority of the rest of the world, that the worst thing we could do is enable Iran to have a nuclear bomb. We believe them in Farsi, in their own language. They want to use it. They want to use the bomb to have another Holocaust. They're not friends. They're big, huge enemies. They're the head of the snake. Together with Qatar and the proxies in our region, they have one goal: death and destruction to the state of Israel.
So Trump is wrong.
No, I didn't say that. On the contrary, we have one goal. If we do it through a deal or through the army, it's the same goal. And we get along very well with the Americans on accomplishing the goal. We agree on the goal. They must never have a bomb.
But it's the wrong method to discuss with Iran.
I don't think it's something to discuss over the media. We discuss this with our American friends behind closed doors. And Iran must realize and come to terms with itself to leave the regime, to leave the jihadi approach, make sure that they understand that they have to understand that they will never have a bomb.
Nir Barkat, that's all we have time for. I want to thank you very much for being our guest.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Tête à Tête here on France 24.